Good morning. I'm at home today. Well, it's not on my face there, but it's not the camera. So I'm collecting a bit of this free firewood. I'll show you what I've got so far, and how it's done, and what you can, what you can't do. So I'm going to switch the camera off now, turn it around, and then I'll record from there. Then upload that video. Okay. So here's the video turned around. So you can see around my place, I've got woods all around. What I can and can't do. Well, that plot there, you've got a house there. It's only a part-time house, summer house. But this bit here, beside it, is all timber as well, all wooded. Can I take that? No, I can't. Why can't I? The simple reason is that land is owned. It's an uchastok and it's owned. If I was to take that, it's theft, basically. I'm stealing its firewood. This one here, there was a lady who owned it, an old lady, but she died at least 2 years before we bought this plot. So this has now gone back to the government, and we can take as much as that as well. I could clear that land, take every stick out of it. The same for everything here. This side here, hold on, walk through this. This was, the fence was never completed, and this bridge that was temporarily put there, falling out of my tit here, put there, slippery. But yeah, this here is all uchastic, but nobody owns it again. The owners died some years back, a long time before me, and nobody's registered it. So I could literally clear every single part of that. I could take every stick out of there if I wanted, and that goes on for at least from here. This is Gorillova, and it goes through to Krasny, which is about 12 kilometers. So I could take 12 kilometers of fire, and the same on that side there. So that's how much I've got. I could take everything, everything from there, and right up there is just old cars that have been parked here. Nobody lives here. This is empty street. This is the end of the road. There's one house on the left there, up the way, but nobody lives here. So this is completely desolate. Nobody owns it. Nobody will own it. It can't be sold or bought. It's gone back to government. Although it's registered as uchastok, nobody can buy it or sell it because the owners have died. So yeah, we can take as much of this as we want. We can cut firewood all day and all night, all free firewood. But I'll show you the realities now of collecting that free firewood. I'm going to go back across my wobbly bridge. It's not wobbly, it's slippery. Basically what happened there was the society, a big ugly fence, our neighbours, when they were building their garage, they asked if they could store some material on our land to stop it getting stolen, and we had it stored right here, and to get to it they put in this little bridge here that is now fallen in, basically. So without going arse over tit again, you knock me over, dog, there's going to be trouble. So I've not secured the fence there. On this side the fence was never built. I just didn't see the point in it. So the reality is, from the house, I've got about I don't know, 30 meters to the edge of this is the end of my land here, and then we're into the next plot. These are trees I planted some years back to grow. So this is the reality of where I'm collecting this stuff from, and how long it takes to collect firewood for people who think that it's an easy job and free firewood and how nice it is. It's not something I enjoy at all. And so this is the stuff. My last video where I showed you where he cut it down, you can see there's two down there, and there's this stuff here. This stuff here. This is right beside the house, so like, you know, 30 meters from the house or something. And the effort it takes to collect this stuff. One piece of this stuff. One piece of this. This is Berlioza. It's great for firewood. This is, I think, Cessna or Asina, probably. So I can cart approximately one piece of this, which is what, just over a metre long, probably 1.5 metres. I can cart one piece of that at a time, and that's to go over there, which is about 30, so maybe 50 metres to where I cut it for the house. So one piece, 50 metres there, 50 metres back, 100 metres through that. It takes forever. It's heavy. You can see I make a little truck with wheel. My dogs are barking like that. Shut up! I make a little truck and cart it through there. How would you do that exactly? Impossible. The only way to do it is get it on your shoulder and carry it. It's heavy. It's wet. Yeah, so I cut it into smaller pieces so I can cart it easier, but it takes time to shift. What, that one there, there's a few bits laying around here. I can probably get a piece of that in my hand along with one of them on my shoulder. So that, then there's one here as well. There's that bit there. There's that there, I've cut up already. There's two over there I haven't cut up yet, but they're deep in. To cut all that up and cart it in would take me probably all day just to shift it into there. And the reality is that would last, all that would last no more than about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days at most. And that's it, gone. So you can imagine the amount that you see Tanya on her video where she showed you a massive amount of firewood. That's the reality. You need a huge shed for it. I was using a woodshed and I'm got off the garage stored with firewood. That's reality. How much I use about 20 cubic meters of it per year. In winter, and probably, I don't know, 15 cubic meter and a bit in the summer. Heating water and that, but about 15 cube in the winter time. 3 cube costs around about 10,000 rubles, so you can imagine it's expensive. And even if I bought it in, I'd have to then they bring it in. It has to be stacked, it has to be dried, because when they cut it fresh, and they bring it in, it's wet, and you can't burn wet wood. You can burn wet wood, but it burns slowly, and it doesn't give enough heat off, so your radiators are cold. It just sort of smoulders and doesn't do much, which is absolutely garbage. So yeah, that's the realities of firewood here. Got all this I can take, but I don't want it. I don't want it, I want gas. So I thought I'd show you the realities of cutting up firewood. All it takes. Once you've got it all cut up, then you need to knock it into pieces. I've got this cup holder. It had a wooden handle, but broke, so I welded on a bit of tubing to make it even heavier. That's the amount of effort it takes. If this is dry, I'll see how much effort it takes to do that. Bigger stuff. There we go. That's the reality of it. Imagine how long that would take if I had to do 20 cube. Why I use free stuff that they bring me, this kind of offcuts. Why it's much more convenient. I got this thing I made to hold it. Seconds. How much effort? Yeah, that pile there. Yeah, that pile there. What we got? A tiny amount, really. When I've completed all that, and them as well, that I fetched up, it's about 1 day's worth of firewood, if that. That's mixed in with dry stuff I've already got stored in here. I've got a vast stock of firewood already. So, but yeah, can you imagine if you had to? I mean, that's from my house to there. Is what, a few hundred meters to the wood line there, where I collected that firewood. Can you imagine that if it was a few kilometers away? You know, talking serious effort. Is it worth it in modern times? I think no. If I was staying here in this property, I would put in a gas tank, LNG gas tank, and run central heating off that. It'd be much more convenient. It'd be expensive because that ain't cheap now. You got to find somebody to fetch it to you. And if you're out in the middle of winter, guess what? You're waiting for it, if they, you know. So yeah. Well, it's the end of the day, and I've brought some stuff up. Not all of it. That's a portion. This is how you stack firewood. If you're interested, a layer, then a little bit of wood, then another layer, little. And that way, it gives a chance to dry. This stuff's already dry inside. Internally, it's dry. It's been laying there a good while. It's very, very, very dry. But still the outside is wet, and that's no good. About firewood, cutting your own firewood. This is brioza. I think it's silver birch in English. It is full of, I don't know what you call the English word for it, smilla. Full of sap. Yeah, sap. It's full of sap. And so it needs to sit for about 2 years to dry out thoroughly before you really should use it, or it just burns like a, even if you cut this fresh and it's wet, and you put this on the fire, it would burn. It burns like wildfire. It's hard to control. it's great firewood, but it's but anyway, I'll show you what I've achieved and what I'm gonna achieve. The real reason why I'm collecting this stuff is because my neighbour, as I said, he cut stuff, I said before, he cut stuff around the house, and then he cut it into pieces for me to take, saying, oh, firewood, free firewood. And I kind of, although I don't want to take it, it's kind of, I kind of feel obliged to do it now, because he spent time cutting it down. He was going to cut it down anyway, but he spent time cutting it up for me. There's some bits he hasn't cut up, and I've got to do myself, but he cut the majority of it up for me for free, out of the goodness of his heart, and kind of so I feel obliged to take it, reluctantly. Some presents you don't want, but so where have I got to? That off is now cleared. All that stuff this morning was laying here. I'm not taking the tiny branches. Yeah, one was there, over here, one there. See, it went along there. In fact, oh, there's a bit left. Here there was stuff. Now I'm working my way back towards this bit over here, which hopefully, if it's not raining tomorrow, I'll collect the rest of it up. So, oh, but yeah, the stuff over there as well yet. They haven't done. So there's one there, look. This stuff here is got, you see, he's sawing it up for me. There's some big stuff there. This he hasn't sawn up, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 I've got to cut up and take. Some stuff's cut up, you see it laying with the rest, it's cut up for me. Down here, this stuff's cut up, another one under here. And this one here, big one here. This stuff, silver birch, is light to carry. It's easy to carry in. I can take 2 pieces of that. It's the other stuff, this, what's Acina. I don't know what Acina is in English. I don't know. That stuff is, this stuff, it's frigging heavy. Take an axe back on here. I can only take 1 piece of that down. I can take about a 2 metre piece of that thickness. More than that, and it's just too much. I have to cut it up. So I had to bring the chainsaw down here and cut it up. But we decided we weren't going to touch any of this bit of forest. So we decided we weren't going to cut any of this, because who wants to live beside a field of tree stubs? It's not exactly eye-catching, is it? So we left it alone, and I took some just to thin it out a bit, to make it a bit, walkable. But that's all. There's one over there I took some time ago when I was seriously quitting firewood. But majority of it we haven't touched. It could really do with some thinning out around here and removing some of the smaller ones and making it nice. But we're not staying here. There's a long one there. Look, should take at some point. For a fact, it's been cut up. We're not staying here, so yeah. Hi, dog. So we're not going to bother with it. But, if I was staying here longer, we're not going to sell it immediately. This place, we're waiting for the land registration before we can. Find a puddle to drink in. Before we're waiting for the land registration before we sell it, because the price of an unregistered house is like vastly different to somewhere where you've got registration and Papiska. And this region, this area, none of them have got it, so it's a premium to have. But it means, like I said, 150,000 rubles to get it bloody registered. Well, there's the other side of that tree, or one of them. That's a big one. But so that there, it's all got to be cut up with a chainsaw tomorrow probably. Oh, there's more over there, isn't there? Bloody hell! Didn't even see that stuff. What's that? I'll have a look. So, oh, so yeah, that stuff there has got to be picked up as well. and then off. My obligation is going to be finished for this. Bloody glad. Somebody said about if you get planks of wood, dosky, they burn too quick, and that's true. They do burn quick. But if you layer them in the wood burner, one on top of the other, right next to each other, then they last a lot longer. This stuff here is what I was going to use for fence posting. It all came free. Don't know yet whether I'm going to bother with a fence post or I'll just chop it up for firewood. Don't know. Some of it's been soaked in oil already. Don't know yet. Don't know. And that stuff as well for fencing. Don't know. But yeah, that's it. Oh, there's our well. Did I ever show you a well? Anybody's interested in a well? There's a well. Fell in the bloody well. Oh, we're full of water. But yeah, there's the well. That runs the pipe running under the ground into the house. And there's a pump in the house. Pump it in. There's that's one I collected from. I was doing a foundation, and the owner said, "Don't touch the trees." I probably did that video. Don't touch the trees. They're mega expensive trees. And so I thought, right, since he don't want us to touch his trees, I pulled one up. A sapling that was just the wild anyway. I just pulled one up just to be in a house and brought it with me. So that's going to my new place in Stare Russa. So yeah, that's the stuff anyway today. That would last typically, if I was to cut all that up in coldest months, January, February, March, I would say that all that there would last probably 2 days, maybe 3 if you're lucky. Well, like I said, this stuff burns really quick, really fast. Yeah, so firewood, round ones last that long, but they don't give the same heat as cut stuff. So that's why you chop it up, not just put round ones in. That'll burn a lot better because it's got 4 corners on it than the round stuff. Weird, isn't it? But there you go. Okay, that's the end of this video. Good morning. So day 3 of collecting firewood. I'll show you what I've done. A few things first if you're thinking about getting into this kind of lifestyle that I'm trying to get out of. If you're going to buy, you need to know how to use a chainsaw properly, how to maintain it, how to all the stuff that comes with chainsaws, mixing the petrol, blah blah blah. In Russia they work on benzene, and the level of it is 92. The only chainsaw to buy in Russia is a Stihl. And I would recommend, the one I'm using at the moment is a MS250. That's the minimum you should be using. That's the one I've got at the moment. I've tried everything from Echo to that went a bit, that cut me off. I've used everything from Partner to Echo to whatever. Stihl is the only one to use because the parts are available. This kind of lifestyle, you need to know how to change the oiler, how to change and sharpen the chain quickly and efficiently, and all that stuff. If you don't know how to do that, learn, and you think about this type of lifestyle, then you should be learning it now. Tatiana. Yeah, mixing the pink stuff. So, somebody didn't mention it. In Russia, that is dvuktaktny, or 2-stroke, and it's symbolised with a 2 and T in the shop. And look on the instructions, it's either 1 to 50 or 1 to 40 mix. So yeah, that's that. So here I am again with my dog, one of my dogs, Jackie. No, I was talking about you, not to you. So I'm coming down into here. I've cleared it out a bit so I can make an easier access. Got my chainsaw in hand today because I've got to cut the stuff up. So I keep losing a sock in my boot. That's a pain in the ass. So this is the stuff. I've moved it into a better position. Drop the chainsaw down there. This stuff is already cut up, so I don't need to do that. This stuff, there's one over there. I didn't even notice it. The one laying there. So this stuff hasn't been cut up. It's going to have to be cut up now to reasonable. That one there is just about manageable for me. It's silver birch that I can just about manage because it's a light. It's a fairly light timber. I can do that. Anything else, Acina, or if you had oak here, that would be just way too heavy. That's probably half of that, probably just over a metre. But that one over there also got to be cut up. I've cleared it out a bit, so on with the cutting. So half the problem with cutting your own firewood is not the cutting of the wood. That's easy. It's getting access to it. So I've made a little road in here to get to this stuff. Not only felling timbers, quick minutes in it, you know. It's getting access across the stream into here, and then into here. So I've cut this. That's the last big one I've chopped up. It's onto pieces now. Only takes a few minutes to chop it up. But then I've got to hump that over there. That stuff up there is now cut up over this little bit of water. Not going in it, hopefully. Keep losing my sock. Also a tip. Difficult to video when you're moving through it. So this is chopped up now. Chopper to chop. Chuck the chainsaw back up there. So that's about the size that I can manage. The thin ones, no problem. That's easy enough to carry up. The thicker stuff, especially that over there, is extremely heavy. When it gets thick, it gets super heavy. But like I said, this is videos and it's lighter, so it shouldn't be too much problem. So for the next several hours, I'm going to hump this up there. And of course, if you're using firewood, you don't just want Beriosa. You've got to mix it with Acina, dupe, which is oak. Anything you can get your hands on, really. But a good mix is. A lot of people swear by just by Beriosa, but to me it burns too fierce, too fast. So if you're coming scavenging firewood in here, you'd want one of them, mix it up. You know, over here, this is mainly Acina. I think it's Acina. Yeah, it's Acina. And Beriosa. So, I don't know what Acina is in English, I have no idea, somebody can tell me. Beriosa silver birch, so in here we've got a good mix up. So if I was collecting firewood here, seriously, I would probably take one of those, one of them. That's a big one. Again, that stuff there, that's thick. That would be a hell of a job to shift it. I'd have to take that into 1-piece meters, then hump it right through there, or make a little kind of cart with wheels or something. I don't know. Here, because of the location, because I've got the van, I can take the van up, just park it on the road there. Nobody uses that road, it's a dead end, apart from one house. Park it in the middle of the road, and then, oh, look what we've got here. I think we have, no, I thought they were Padacina, not Paganka. In Russian, bad mushrooms is Paganka. Good word. So yeah, I'd take the van and park it in the middle of the road and just cut it and put it straight into the back of the van and then just drive it back down again. That would be the easiest way to do it. Or yeah, this road here I can use. This incidentally is unocastic. So if you were to buy this plot, you can't buy it. But if you were to buy this one here, this is 15 sotok. This one, ours is 15. This is 15. If you were to buy this, this is the kind of thing you'd have to shift. It'll take a long time to cut it all down, and then all the stumps have to come out as well if you're going to build on it. So it's not a light undertaking to do that. So yeah, that's where we're at. Turn the camera on because it keeps cutting off. Sap in the wood, which is this stuff here. As Tatiana said, in spruce. I'm not sure what that is. Pine, I think. Yoke, this here. If you get that, if you burn a lot of it, it builds up in the chimney. It'll drip back down and block your chimney. Blocking chimneys are the least of your problems. If you've got a chimney that goes out 90 degrees and then up, no, out at 90 degrees and then up at 90 degrees, it builds up in the corner of the pipe, and you get a big deposit of sap there, and the sap can drip onto that. And that, if that then catches fire when it gets hot, the whole chimney goes up like a Roman candle, out of control. You may have seen it where fire engines come and they put a hose straight down the chimney to put the damn thing out. But in a frame house, you've no chance. Your house will be burnt down in. There was one burnt down here not so long ago, 3 years back. I think it took 7 minutes to burn it down, out of control. The time fire brigade got it was gone. So yeah, very, very. The way I deal with it, in our burner, it goes from the burner straight up through the kitchen roof ceiling and out through the roofs directly. And that, so there's no bends in the chimney. Something to think about if you're putting in this kind of thing. If you're putting in a wood burner, something to seriously think about is where your piping is going to go. And also in Russia, they insulate the tubes. You can get ordinary metal pipes, but they're prone to a lot of cold in them. If they get really cold, when you light the fire, you get blowbacks. So they insulate the tubes with rock wool, about 5 centimetres. And that helps with that. Doesn't always prevent it, but it helps. So yeah, something to think about, mixing your wood. And again, why I said it has to be, you hear people say in England, seasoned firewood, and what do they mean by seasoned firewood? They put pepper on it or something. No, it's where it's left for 2 years and the sap has dried out, literally dripped and dried out, so you get good dry firewood. But if you live in this kind of lifestyle, how could you leave it 2 years? You know, it's a constant cutting process. You're cutting it in the winter, drying it over the summer to use it for the winter. So you're always if you're doing this kind of lifestyle, you're always cutting timber. It's a year-round thing. It's a absolute bind. Unless you something about log splitters in Russia. I don't know where you can get a log splitter from to hire. I have no idea. I've never even seen one here. The only way unless it's commercial. But if you're getting your own firewood, you would have to buy one. If you're knocking this stuff up into if you're knocking this stuff into pieces, a log splitter, I suppose, would be ideal. But to hire one in just to cut it for a day or two, you know, bringing it here, setting it up, dismantling the damn thing when you're finished. No thanks. Yeah, easy just to buy firewood in if you're going to do that. I don't know. Hate the stuff. So, last video of the day. I've got most of it up. There's still a little bit to come, not much, but once I've got it to here, then it has to be cut into pieces like that, and then it has to be carted into the place where you're going to stack it. In my case here. Now this Berioza is very dry. It's been laid for a long time. So I was supposed to get it last year and never did. But it's been laying for, it's very dry, other than the outside, what do you call it, skin, the bark is a bit wet, but that's figna. So I'll put that stuff there, and the wet stuff, this is the Acina, you see it's wet, that's stacked over there to be dry in a separate place. And that's what you're contending with when you're doing firewood. You're constantly checking which is dry, which is wet. If I was doing this, I had a big, I'll show you here. I had a big woodshed here. It went from the, I'll get back a bit here so you can see. It went from there, it was 3 meters there, 3 meters to there, and then right to 6 meters. It was 3 by 6, a big woodshed that was there. And what I had it split into 2 halves. I had one half which was drying and one half which was already dry. So in winter I would use that stuff up, and as soon as it was used up, as soon as the dry stuff was used up, I would start cutting and putting it into that side, and then start using the other stuff. So you're constantly back and forward with dry, wet, dry, wet, dry, wet. Constantly drying. This stuff here, I'm just going to let it dry where I've got it covered up a little bit. Going to let it just dry out there. We don't need it. There's the stuff that I've got plenty there. In fact, I don't know if I've put lights on here. It's all shady. I don't know if you can see up there. I've got it numbered 5, 6. That's how much. That's so I've got 5. What do they call that in English? I have no idea. Rad in Russian. I had 6. I used one up a bit. One of these lasts about. I can show you here. About that much. Lasts about a week. So one of these here, one of these walls of firewood here would last practically a month, maybe a bit more. So I've got what, 5? I've got practically 4 months of firewood there alone. 4 month stack. So we're in November, so we've got December, January, February, March. I should run out in March time. So this stuff here I'm going to cut now. That'll let it went in full in here. That'll, you can see a tiny amount. So what I will do is, I'm not going to cut any more this year. I'm done with cutting firewood. I will buy 3 cubing, and that will stacked in here. I'm going to buy that probably in a couple of days, and that'll be stacked. But when you buy firewood, they cut it fresh and it's wet, and it's got about 100% wetness of it. So it has to be dried. So if I buy it now, come March, and stack it in here, this side of the shed, which is full of junk. It's not my junk, somebody else's. Another story. But anyway, if I stack it in here, move all this crap out. There's an old freezer there, and God knows what. If I stack it there, 3 cube, by the time that's finished, that'll be dry, and I can use that then. And then that should be me finished with cutting firewood for the rest of my life, I hope, because as soon as the snow disappears, I'm back up to start on the new place. And I don't intend to come back here even in winter. We won't sell it yet, but we no plans to come back here next winter. So that's that's the life of firewood. That's how much you need. You see, well, that's, so if you can imagine here, that's right today. It's packed with firewood. There's a lot there. And what I did when I stacked it very close together. I stacked it, almost without any gaps, nothing to speak of, very, very close. Something else you've got to think about when you're stacking firewood. If it's fresh stuff, you want to throw it higgledy-piggledy like that. You see, I've thrown it upside down there, so it's got gaps to dry out. If it's already dry stuff, like these planks or wooden, whatever, and this had a long time, it's had a year to dry. So I can stack it close together, it doesn't matter. But if you're using new stuff, that's the way it's got to be stacked. Especially if it's round stuff, you've got to leave it open with gaps, which uses more space as well. So 50-50. What do you do? What do you buy? That pre-cut stuff and stack it in like that and use all your shed up, or do you get this stuff in? Which it's all free. It comes. He just offered us another load and I turned it down. I don't want any more, thanks. I stacked it lasts. Actually, before I went up to the new place, I stacked it here, and it's a mix of when you're cutting firewood, you want it to, if you're using this stuff, you want it mixed. You want sort of big stuff, small stuff, big stuff, small stuff, big stuff, small stuff, big stuff, small stuff. So when you're using it, you get in a mix. Oh, my dogs are going mad. There's a car going. Why they chase cars, I have no idea. There you go. But anyway, that's Firewood. That's my last of my Firewood videos. Hope you enjoyed. I'm not, if there's any questions on this, you're welcome to ask, but I am not going into videos of how to maintain a bloody chainsaw. There's so many YouTube videos, it's not worth it. I'll tell you what, you know, which one, what to buy if you're interested, but that's about it. As like I say, maintenance and that, you know, go use YouTube, go check it out there if you're into this kind of lifestyle. If you think this is kind of romantic, chopping your own firewood, blah blah blah. It's not, especially if you're working. When you know, I work doing piles, foundations. When the hell do I get a chance to do that? You know, it's a bind, isn't it? Bind that I hate. Well, there you go. Okay.